Okay, so we get started for today's session, which would be taking a deeper look on the tables which we have in and how to load data into the tables and why should we even load data into tables. So, as we said, the tables in Salesforce are called objects, the columns are called
Field.
fields, and what are the rows called?
Record.
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 Cool. So we have standard set of objects. We have custom objects. The custom objects are tables which you create for from scratch. Okay. Whenever you create a table, when you have standard tables, there are many columns already created by Salesforce, right? When you create a new table, then also Salesforce creates many columns automatically. We call these standard fields. If you create your own column, that are custom fields. And we discussed what are the different field types in the last call, right? What and the relationship between tables can be done using some field types called lookups,
And master detail.
master detail fields, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Now we'll see. So you what are the operations of a table? So let's talk about a table. If or we are talking about an object, right? What are the possible things which you can do in a table? I am talking about the data of the table. Yeah, not
Read and
structure.
read and
Yeah,
write.
yeah.
Read and write.
Write. What do you mean by write?
Man, data export means row add, row delete.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct. So that is a better word. I was looking for that word. So adding a new row.
Yes, sir.
Uh, we will not use the word row, right? For
Uh,
let's put the right word, record,
Record.
and I will not use the word add. We will do a create, right? Creating a new record. Okay.
Okay.
Same thing. Record update.
Edit.
That means changing an existing record, isn't it? That is also
Yes.
possible.
Yes.
Then what is the most important is deleting that record. I don't want
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And of course, the most basic information is first reading the record, right? What is there? So in sales, we call this CRUD operation, CRUD or CRED operations. Both the same. We'll use the word CRED. It will be easier. So create, read, edit, delete. Yeah, remember this word, CRUD or CRED. Both are the same. If you use the word update, then that becomes CRUD. But we will be using the word CRED. Okay. So you can create a row, you can read a row, you can edit a row, you can delete a row. Update is also called editing a row or changing the row, right? Say when what do you mean by create a row? Then you have to fill data of on all the cells or most important mandatory cells mean, right? And then update then any of the one cell if you change the value of one cell means just one box, right? One column value of a row. And then record delete is the deleting the whole row. I just remove this row altogether from the table. Yeah. So these are the these are the only possible operations on a object. In object, you can read the rows of that object. You can create a new row in that object record. You can update an existing record or edit that record, or you can delete that record. Yeah. Now, this all jobs individually are done by the individual users. So if it is a salesman, what he is doing, he probably is creating a new account. That means he's adding a account record into the account object. Okay. If it is a service person, what he's doing, he probably is creating a new case. That means he's adding a case record into a case object, right? He can go ahead and update it later. If he thinks that there are duplicate cases, he can delete it, right? Or he's working on that case for 2 or 3 days, then he has to keep reading the same case again and again and again, right? His case. Same story with the sales guy. If he's working on account, contact, opportunity, right? These are typical. These three tables are the tables which will be used by a salesman. Case would be the table. Case and contact probably are the tables that would be used by service people, right? Who called and what was his problems. Yeah, the most important. Probably they will use all, but yeah, these are the most important tables on which they will do operations. But they will be working on individuals, right? One record at a time. Okay, but you as a system administrator might have to work on multiple records at a time, and that is called bulk operation. Bulk means more than one, right? Many. Bulk record creation, that means you are creating 200 records at the same time, you are updating 200 records at the same time, you are deleting 200 records at the same time, you are so reading 1000 records at the same time. You as a system administrator need the table access differently than a normal user. So why do you need that differently? Because you are actually not creating, or you are not using the application as a normal salesman and creating records one by one. Your job is to make ready the application, right? And make it usable for the salespeople or the service people. Think about it. There was an old CRM, right? Old CRM was in Excel sheet. People were used to work on Excel sheets, right? They used to store their account information, contact information in Excel sheets. Now they have purchased Salesforce. By that time, 5 or 6 years of business is already done. So customer is saying that when I purchase Salesforce, I should not start from scratch. I should be able to see all my existing customers in Salesforce. So you as a system administrator, your responsibility is to now load all the customer data into all these tables and make it ready for them to use Salesforce. Here bulk operations comes in. So you cannot create one by one accounts. You cannot create one by one cases, contacts, and opportunities. Not possible, right? Because maybe 5 years the business is going on and you have to push all data into Salesforce first. Then only basically the seller side will be able to use Salesforce, because they cannot start in blank slate, right? They already have existing customers. Are you getting the context? What will be your role? So we call this activity data migration most of the time. There will be projects wherein customer is coming to Salesforce from any existing CRM or no CRM at all. So these data migration projects would need bulk operations on tables, and that would be done by system administrators, not by individual salesmen or service people. So you will be loading hundreds of records into Salesforce at one shot. Okay. How do you do that? So what Salesforce gives when a new table is created or a new object is created in Salesforce by default, you can create a tab. When you create a tab, Salesforce gives you a create button or a new button, right? Same thing. Edit button. It gives a delete button. And there is a default view list that is a list view to see all the records, right? Let's see this all. What are we talking about? So this is Salesforce. So this is your bulk read screen. If you click on this one, you go to details. This is your read operation. You are reading a record. If you edit this, this is the edit operation. You want to delete it, you can delete this operation. All these are already given by Salesforce. You don't have to do anything. Just creating a new object, automatically Salesforce gives you all these screens for you, right? To do individual record operations, one record at a time. So all these screens are already available for you. Salesforce is giving it to you. But for system admins, there are different tools. If I want to create 100 accounts right now, are you seeing any button? You see an import button here, right? What does it do? You say this is basically importer tool. Okay. And we'll see this importer tool in get detail. There are multiple ways in working on data operations. One of the tool is this importer tool. There is another tool here in setup. If you go, dataloader.io. This is another tool through which you can do operations on tables. That means operation on data, bulk data operations. Okay. So more than one record at the same time. You can load, you can delete, you can edit, you can read. Yeah. So these are a little advanced and complicated tools. For you to understand a simple tool, I think importer tool is there already in your trailheads. So use that. If you go and do a import user, data import user, this is exactly what opened, right? When you hit the import button, you see the same thing. So launch wizard, if you do that, basically it takes it to the same screen. So you can select which object you want to import data, and this only gives you import, right? One operation, that is creating or updating, right? So if I go to contact, you can see add or update, but there are still two operations. There is read operation, and there is a delete operation, which is not possible through importer tool. So dataloader.io does allow you to do all the 4 operations. Now we will see this in great detail. Workbench is another tool which we have seen in past. We'll use this tool also and practice on all tools. Yeah. So here it is easier for you to look at all the operations in quick succession. So let's look at the first operation, that is read all. So let's go to any account table. So first table which we are looking at is account. What is the most important field or the mandatory field on account? Tell me. When you are creating an account,
Name, sir.
Name.
Name.
Absolutely. So I will go to this, and we said that Salesforce generates a unique row ID, record ID. I am selecting that also. You see, so there are 14 accounts already existing in this org. If you go to the account table here and you go to all records, and you will see there are 14 accounts are also showing up. So this is basically my read operation. I am seeing all the records at one shot, right? And I am also seeing the ID of that bulk operations, right? You see? So let me go and now download this. So instead of list, that is the view, I want to now download this data. And this is comma separate values. We'll see this. So if you now change this to queries, to query, it will now show you this window, and there is an icon to download it. Yeah. So now I have downloaded this in my machine. I rename this to account.csv file, right? I can open this with Excel sheet. Let's open this in Excel sheet. How does a comma separated value look like? This just opens like any other Excel, you see. So there are 2 columns in this table. One column is these values created by Salesforce, and these values are entered by us, right? So this is the read operation, the first primary operation and the basic operation on a table. That's a read operation. I am getting all the records of this account. Now, what if I want to create accounts? Can I create an account? Of course I can. So let's go and do a new. Here, when you are creating an account, what information do you need? Which column value do you need?
Name. First names.
Absolutely, name. So let me give account 100 as my first account, and probably I will create 20 100 to 120. Yeah, 20 records I'm creating, 21 records in fact I'm creating. I want to create. Tell me, when I want to create, is this is the mandatory column. I have to give that value, and there is a ID column do I need to provide an ID? What do you think?
ID is created by Salesforce itself.
Yes, so I do not need anything. So I will now save this file and I will tell it is account new, and instead of Excel, yeah, I will use this CSV, comma delimiter, yeah, comma separated CSV. This is also fine, same thing. So I have now created a new CSV file, and let's see what happens. I go to now data part. Here I start my first operation, that is creating of records. I choose the object type from file and I select what? Account new CSV. Next. You see? This is all the columns of that account. And this is in red. Right? This needs to be mapped. So I map it to the name field. This is the name of the field on the left, and this is the name of the column of the CSV file. So you have to map it automatically. Normally, if the name is same, it automatically maps it. If it does not map, you have to map it. So if you have multiple columns in your CSV, then you have to map it accordingly. Somebody was having some problem with mapping, right? Are you understanding now?
Yes, sir.
The issue?
Yes, sir.
So this is what mapping is all about. On the left, it is fields. That means where it is a destination, which column of the object on which you want to push the data. And this is the CSV field value. That is the CSV column value. So you might, in the Excel sheet, you might name it account name. Huh? In the Excel sheet, probably you have given the column name as account name.
Yep.
So in that case, you will map it to account name. Okay. Usually try to keep the name in the Excel sheet and the field same. If you make it same, then Salesforce will automatically map it. Okay. So now I do a map fields. So I have only one column and I confirm insert. 21 records are getting created. You see? Created. How do I know that? I go and refresh this file, this screen. It's created, right? 102, 130 objects has been created. And the rest of the objects are also there. So if I go and now do a SQL query, I don't want to download again. I will now go and see this. Maybe let's download it once again. What is the problem? So what was the other name? Name field, name. Yeah. So let's download this file once again. Open this with Excel sheet. You see? Now, not only the old values are there, but the newly created accounts has also been created. And I can also see the newly generated IDs by Salesforce. Isn't it simple? Now, what if I want to update records? So let's update the names of these new accounts, okay? So I don't want these rows, so I will delete this because I'm not updating these. I want to update only these values. So I will add a 0 at the last. I want to add something like this. Yeah. And now I want to save this as account edit or account update, whatever. And this is also CSV value.
Yeah.
Now, when I am updating operation, this ID field is very, very important because name is not unique. Okay. Name can be like both the names are quite the same. It can be, you can have account 1000 and account 1000 once again in another row. But which row are you trying to edit? Salesforce decides it using the ID column. So uniquely identifying a row for bulk operation for edit or delete would need ID mandatorily. Okay, so we'll see this. Now I go and do a update operation. I take the file again. Next, this time you see ID field is now available, and it has already mapped the ID field. The name field also it has mapped automatically. I map it and confirm update. See, these fields are all got updated now. How to make sure that? Just go and refresh. You see, names has got updated. Okay, there is an upsert operation also. What is upsert? Upsert is update plus insert. So in same operation, you want to do both using the same file. How can I do that? It is quite easy. If you go to that table, edit, I rename this table to upsert. And let's open this table. So instead of 0, now I add another 0. So I'm updating these rows. And what if I want to create some more? Only these many. So I want to update these records and I want to create these records. In creation, I cannot give the ID, right? Because Salesforce will generate it for us. So I just save the file. So say if I do a observed operation wherein I have provided ID, that will be updated. And if I have not provided ID, that will be created. Let's see this. Upsert. I will now use the upsert CSV. ID is mapped, name is there, map field, same as update operation. But here, you see there is updated till there, and then there is created. Okay. See, these are been updated and these are all created, new ones. So in the same operation, you can do insert and update both. That is called upsert. What is a delete operation then? Delete operation is just deleting the records. So let's now delete all these existing accounts, not all, maybe a few. So whatever we created, right? The account edit, I will use that same field and I will use it for deletion. You only need the ID. You don't need anything else. So let's account upsert I cannot use because there are columns which does not have IDs. So I will probably remove these ones. And you can do a new download of files, so you will get the IDs of that. But let's not. So till 10,000 to 12,000, I want to delete these accounts. Okay, I will go to this one. Maybe I will rename this to delete this time. Sorry, I'll do this here. Just not to avoid any confusion. Okay, just I'm renaming the file. So this time I'm using the same file for delete operation. Next, my fields. And you see there are some things which we will discuss. So if I do a tick here, permanently hard delete, Salesforce also has a recycle bin of its own. If you normally delete a record, it goes to the recycle bin and stays there for 10 days. If you want to not move them to recycle bin, permanently delete it, then you tick this box. Otherwise, you can't delete it. This is now deleted. Okay. So only benefit is that if you have this undelete and you can bring them back from recycle bin. So choose the same file. Right now, let's see what has happened. It has deleted, right? So if I go to account, I cannot see 10,000 to 12,000 records, right? That those are gone. But if I just undelete once again, I'm undeleting now, then these old accounts are again back. You see, 10,000 to 12,000 is again back. So now I go and delete it once again. And then I go and purge. Purge means cleaning the recycle bin. So I am using the account delete once again. So I am now removing it from recycle bin. Please note that purge operation can only be done on records which is already been deleted. So these are in there in recycle bin, and now it has been removed from recycle bin. Can I undelete now? If I do and try the undelete operation, what will happen? You see, it will throw an error that entry is not there in recycle bin. This is not the recycle bin of your desktop. Please remember this. This is a recycle bin in Salesforce. Okay. Is it clear for you guys, all the operations? So I will download the file once again, because now we need to load data from another table. So I am downloading this value once again. And this account table, I want to move to recycle bin. I rename this again to account. So let's see what is there right now. What is the current state? If I open in Excel sheet, it will show like this. These are the existing records, and these are some created by me. Many things were already deleted by me. Okay. So this is the fresh account list, 24 accounts which I have in the system. So I want to work with this. So this time we will load data into the child object, which is called contact. How to create that? I will go to my Excel sheet, blank workbench. What are the fields that are needed for contact creation?
ID, name.
Do you need ID for creating records?
No, ID generated by Salesforce is self.
So I am creating contacts. What are the fields I need?
First name, last name.
Good work. First name, last name,
Contact.
and
Contact number. Contact number.
what is contact number?
Mobile number.
Phone number. Okay.
Phone
Not
number.
needed. It is not mandatory. What is mandatory in contact object?
His company.
Huh?
Company. Sorry, account, I mean.
Account is mandatory in contact?
Yeah, because then only we will get to know.
Yes.
Let's go to contact. This is the contact screen. Which fields
Name
are
only
there in
name.
red dot?
Name.
Only the
name.
last name.
Last name, yes.
Okay, that's it. It creates the record. This proves you guys are not even playing with Salesforce. For creating a contact, this contact will show up in your list. It is created. But it is not related to any account. So Salesforce allows to create contacts not related to any accounts. These are called private contacts. But when you associate this to an account, like if I go to Smith, change this, and probably now search or add this to BongBong, then this becomes a child record to BongBong.
Bong, yeah.
Okay. So it is wrong for you to mention that account is mandatory. Okay. But we don't want to create orphan accounts, orphan contacts. We want to associate to contact. How do I do this? What field would I need to fill up for me to associate this to a account record? Come on, we discussed this in last class.
Sir, can you repeat the question? I don't get it.
What field I have to fill up in my contact object so that this contact record which I'm creating now gets associated to a account? What is the relationship field in contact that needs to be filled up?
Look up.
What is the name of the field?
Sir, account ID.
Account ID.
Account
Simple.
ID, yes.
Absolutely. So now let's give some names. So I will give sample first name F1, and I will give a example L1. Maybe let's create 10 records, 10 samples. Okay. So I want to create these 5 records, first 5 records under account A, and so let's create contact. No. This time again CSV. Don't forget this. Salesforce will not accept XLS. So this is enough for you to create new contacts, but I want to also associate this to accounts when I want to create it, right? So I have to fill this account ID. Where do I get this ID? Any ideas?
Sir, from workbench.
That's
Searching
fine.
under accounts.
What will I do? How to get this account ID? So I have downloaded the account CSV, right? Just a while ago. Let's open it.
Yeah.
So these are the IDs.
Yeah.
So let's create the first. I will copy this one and paste it in this 5. Making sense? I will copy this one and I will paste it for this because that is what I want to do. Only create 10 contacts, 5 contacts under first account, then 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 under second account. Okay, 5 each, 2 accounts. So I have now created my file. Just go ahead and insert. This time I will change this to contact.
Yes.
Choose file, contact new. So account is now mapped to account ID. Last name is now mapped to last name. First name is mapped. First name is not mapped. Let's map the first name. Plus 3 columns, right? I have mapped it. Confirm insert. Created records. Let's go back to contact. Let's see all
contacts.
Yeah, my contacts have been created. And you see this 12,100 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I copied probably 6 people fields. No, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right?
Yeah.
5 each. Any questions so far?
No, it seems good. Yeah.
Now the problem in this approach, what I see is that I have to go back to the account, manually fetch that account ID, paste it in account sheet and upload it. What if I have thousands of records? How will I manage this then? Very tedious work, doesn't it look like that? It's a very tedious work. Right? What if I have 1,000 accounts and 10,000 contacts to load, and each accounts will have like 5 or 2 or minimum 2 contacts each. I have to then copy paste 1,000 accounts one by one. That's 10,000 accounts one by one, right? Is there a better way of doing this all? Can relationships be created? So that's the trouble is with the child record update, right? Because you have to fill up now the child record, the parent record ID in the child records, right? That is the real challenge here, right? Account ID, filling up the account ID is a real challenge, isn't it?
Yes.
Rest of the is quite straightforward. Nothing else there. On the relationship fields, filling up the relationship fields is a bit tricky. I have to copy paste from the parent record, get the ID, post it there. Is there a better way of doing it? There is a better way of doing it. So let's see that. What we need to do is that I don't want to use the ID field at all. Can I avoid the ID field at all? So let's see that. Think about an old CRM from which you are bringing data into Salesforce. It would be a two-step process, right? First, you load the accounts, then download the accounts, get the account IDs from that, paste it in the contact sheet, and then upload in again, right? But what if I want to do that straight up, one by one, without even going to Salesforce and fetching the record ID? Can I do that? Yes, I can. On the parent record, I have to create a new field. Let's name this field, and usually we'll take a text field for this, okay? And this time I will name it my ID. Let's use the full value of the text field. I can make it required and unique. Usually that would be used, okay? Because now I will be referring these records using this field rather than the Salesforce ID. But these two, you may or may not want this to be ticked. Unique, of course, you want it to be ticked because it has to be unique. It may or may not be required, which you can decide it. If you are starting for the first time, you should make it required. But this is the most important field which you have to fill up. External ID to denote this is an ID I am uniquely assigning to this record from external system. That means I am giving the ID outside from Salesforce. It can be on your own, or you can bring it from a different CRM. It doesn't matter. I now save this. So my ID field is now created in my parent record. When I'm loading my child, right now I will not be using the Salesforce ID. I will be using my ID. How do I do that? Let's see this process, how simple that has become. I will delete all these. I will now create from scratch. Let's see how easy it has become. First, I'm creating the account record. Name, account X100. I'm creating 10 accounts. I am providing my ID. So here I'm creating accounts or loading accounts, and this time I'm uploading account new. Again, this has to be CSV. Right?
Mhm.
I've done it. Done. Finished. I now go to a new Excel again. This time I'm creating the first name and last name. And I need the account relationship, right? So account ID I have to fill up. Otherwise the relationship will not work.
Yeah.
So sample LX1, example LX1. Again, I'm creating 10 contacts. I want to create the first contact under X100. I know the ID because I have give it to you, right? And sorry, X100 next under X200. Please remember, I'm not using Salesforce ID here, right? I am giving my ID values. Please contact me. So I have created 2 sheets. Now I am trying to avoid the step of downloading Salesforce IDs. I don't want to use Salesforce ID at all. Now see how it becomes easier for us to load records. So I go to account, choose the account new. Next, I just need to associate the name field,
Yeah.
and I have to associate the my ID field, but you will see that my ID field is not there at all in this list. So what happened? I created this. You have to re-log into Workbench to get that field, because that's a schema change. Schema change is not automatically reflected. I will go back to insert, go to account once again, choose the file.
Okay.
Next, this time when I'm going to map, I will now get the name field which I mapped, and my ID field also is showing up. I will now map my ID with my ID. Mapping the fields, confirm insert. 10 records got created. I can immediately verify if I go to account, the X accounts. This one is the X accounts which already got created, right? And if I see the fields to display, and you see my ID is also available here. You see, these accounts have my ID filled up, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't need to download these values, these IDs, in order to associate this with contacts. What I need to, I can straight away go change this to contact, choose contact ID, and you see Salesforce has automatically mapped it because the names got matched. First name did not match. Will this work now? What do you think if I map these 3 fields? Can I upload these records? Will Salesforce allow me to upload these records? Any ideas? Let's do it. Malformed ID. So it is not allowing us. So we did a lot of work, but it did not allow us to use it at all. Because Salesforce is expecting 18 characters there. The Salesforce formatted correct IDs. But I am giving my own IDs. That won't work. Salesforce will not accept. So in order to tell Salesforce that, okay, I am telling you that I am not providing you the IDs. Rather, I am providing the value of my ID. This is the external ID. If this field is marked as external ID, it will allow you to be used as smart lookup. So I am telling Salesforce, I am providing you the my ID value. You please replace this runtime when you load. Are you getting the point?
Yes.
So I am instructing Salesforce to replace the value of my IDs with actual IDs when it is loading it, because Salesforce will store the Salesforce IDs. It will not store my ID there at all. But I am providing my ID for the upload file. But smart lookup, Salesforce will automatically find this record ID, replace it, and load it. So when I do a confirm insert, you see the records got created. So if I go to now contacts,
All contacts.
these are the X IDs which got created, and you have 5 records each created under 2 different accounts. So it simplified the whole process of loading, right? A relationship is so easy now. You don't have to remember Salesforce ID. You don't have to download that. Ignore, bypass it. Use your own IDs. Smaller, easier, unique IDs if you can use. It's very easy for you to know. Straight up, step-by-step process. You load the parent and the child using my IDs, that is external ID, and you're done. Please remember the external ID needs to be created on the parent side, not on the child side. If you have like third level child, so under contact, you have another object which is related to contact, and contact is the parent of it. In that case, you have to create a external ID in contact object. In order to load the child records, you need to create the external ID on the parent side. Please remember that. So instead of Salesforce using Salesforce ID for the parent, you will be using the external ID for loading the data. But you have to tell Salesforce that you are providing external ID and which field value are you providing. There can be multiple external IDs which you have created on that table, possible. So in that smart lookup field, you have to specify, I am providing the value of this external ID. That's it. Now you replace the value runtime. So Salesforce will automatically replace, make external ID values with Salesforce IDs and load it. That way you can eliminate a step of downloading the parent records again to fetch the Salesforce ID. Makes it so much simple for you to load data and relationships. Any questions so far? Did you understand it? All these operations you can do using data import wizard also. Play around with it. Launch wizard. Here you can account, add new records. You can drag and drop the CSV, or you can choose the file here, account new. This will create div duplicates. But I'm just wanted to show. Here you can also map it. You see, you go and change this. And what are you providing here? Name field, right? So it will be only account name. So map it. Okay. And then my ID. This will be unique, so it will not be allowed. So you will do a next and start import. It will fail because I am loading the same data again. This is asynchronously loading it. Okay. It is not synchronously loading it. Asynchronously means it is having, like, it will take its own time to do it. Okay. If you go and view results, you can see whether the data has been loaded or not. You see, duplicate values, that's why it is not able to load it. Okay, I made it unique. Remember that? Had I not made it unique, it has been successfully imported. Same thing you can do using data loader. Launch data loader. Are you? Same CSV files, you are remembering, right? Nothing changes, only your application is changing, but the same CSV file. I will also show you how the CSV file actually looks like. It's very easy to create. If you, by the time it is loading, I will show you. So if you go to this, any CSV file, right? And open this with Notepad, which you have in Windows. In Mac machine, we use it, text edit. You see, simple. There's a comma separated values. That opens as rows and columns when you open this in Excel sheet. Yeah, very easy to make. You can make it in Notepad also. That is why it is so simple to do that. So you can see, you can read this documentation, go to look at the demo, you'll understand it, how to import works and so on. Read this, understand it, and then get started and do your work. Okay, you can do export also, which is same thing. Yeah, there's a lot of documentation here. You can connect to FTP, bring the file from FTP. You can bring a file from Dropbox or Box. These are like just like Google Drive, right? These are like cloud folders you can use. Okay, so you can now start a new task. You can go and insert quick find like account, select it, next, upload CSV. You see, it gives you a lot of other options: FTP, secure FTP, Box, Dropbox, database. You can directly connect using a database. Yeah. Here also you have to do a mapping. Account name and my ID has been already selected for you. You can change this also if you want. And this can be scheduled. You can use bulk API. Bulk API is basically is asynchronous way of using it. That will be doing it in batches in its own time. So you will not see the formats, and you can have a save and run. So it is now, this has queued up the account insert, and it will start take off at its own time. And whenever it has run, in that case you will see the results. Yeah, I think it has already run. There's some errors, we already know about it, right? So this is how your tools are work. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, so that is all for our class. Go ahead and practice. If you do not practice data upload, you will not understand how data is loaded in bulk, and that is a very important information or tasks for a system administrator to achieve. So please do not waste time. Go and play around and import data into those tables and relationships. That is very important. Use the external ID. With or without external IDs, try to do imports in child objects and see if you can create relationships. Not very difficult, but with practice it will be very, very easy for you. Just like in this call itself, I have loaded so many data, right? It's just with practice. So you should be in a position where you can load data in a flash. So it is very important that you give ample amount of time for practicing this. Otherwise, you will be stuck again and again. That would be all for today's call. I will stop recording. Any questions?